Hey guys, this is Paul Buentello, the host for the Inside the Cage. I'll give you a pre-fight preview for Inside the Cage, a fighter's eye for the fan, for UFC 80 in Newcastle, England. Inside the Cage will be uploaded hours after the fight from UFC 80 on 401mania.com. And Inside the Cage, this pre-fight, we're going to really break down the last two fights. Gabriel Gonzaga, Fabricio Werdum. This fight has a lot of stuff. This is going to be a great matchup. 6'1", Gonzaga coming in 240, maybe 245. Then we got Werdum coming in at 6'4", 230. A little bit lighter, probably 10, 15 pounds lighter than Gonzaga. But the thing is, the matchup. This is really interesting on this matchup. Gonzaga coming in 8-2. Werdum coming in 9-3. Very interesting. Last loss for Gonzaga was against Randy Couture, the natural, back in 07, 825-07. Great fight. Gonzaga was just out hustling that. But then again, Werdum come off of a loss against Andre Loss in April of this last year. So it's been a while since he's been in the cage. Probably been, what was that, 6, 7, 8 months? So kind of interesting there. Gonzaga's been busy. Gonzaga's been fighting some deal. Now, what's really interesting, the big win for Gonzaga is really interesting right here because he knocked out Krokov. Krokov is a devastating striker. Gonzaga came with a big head kick, dropped him. I mean, that was a barn burner there because we didn't expect Gonzaga to kick Krokov in the head. Krokov is known for doing the big kicks. Then you look at this. Werdum comes in as Krokov's trainer, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu trainer at that. And so I don't know, maybe Werdum's coming back to win this fight, to take over his pupil, or is it, maybe a little grass off. I don't understand, but this is going to be really good. But the main thing about this is a rematch. Yes, guys, this is a rematch. Werdum won this fight in 2003 in a third round TKO against Gabriel Gonzaga. So this is a rematch. That makes it very more interesting. And then Gonzaga knocking out Krokov and Werdum being Krokov's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu trainer. Very cool. I mean, I think it's a heated rivalry right there. Gonzaga coming in 4 wins, 1 loss in UFC. Werdum's coming in at 1 loss, 0-1. But he has beaten Gonzaga before. It's going to be really interesting how this fight turns out. You got 2 heavyweights, 2 good ground guys, and it's going to be a good matchup because I think there's a lot of heat on the fire, and people don't realize that. And Gabriel Gonzaga has been staying busy. Gabriel Gonzaga can strike. I pick Gabriel Gonzaga for this one. Main event, Rapid Fire UFC 80. BJ Penn, the Prodigy. Then you got Joe Daddy Stevenson. This is gonna be a good fight. They're both coming in, 5'9", 5'7". Joe Stevenson coming 5'7". That's not gonna make a big difference, but they both come in at 155. And the interesting thing about this is that they both had fights at 170. Joe Stevenson dropped down from 170 to 155. Since he's been training at Las Vegas, I guess he can make the weight a lot easier. Also, BJ just made a recent comeback at 155. I mean, he really got training down to a pack to where he dropped that weight and dropped down to 155, which is very interesting because they do have BJ has some key wins. He's beat Jens Pulver at 155, but then again he lost to Jens Pulver. Then you got Hughes at 170. He won the world title at 170, BJ at 170. And what was interesting is that Joe Stevenson has fought Jens Pulver as well back in '99, and that was a KO. Jens won over Joe Stevenson with a KO punch. From what I remember, I think Pulver broke his jaw. I mean, really hit him pretty hard, but that's back in '99. And then a few fights up, Jens Pulver fights BJ Penn for the lightweight 155 title. BJ Penn didn't come out victorious in that fight. And the UFC demolished that division. In other words, that division went away. It just disappeared. So BJ never really fought for the world title again until now. UFC 80 Rapid Fire in Newcastle, England, which is kind of interesting because I think BJ is kind of missing that flame. Yes, he won the title at 170, but he missed it at 155. Great matchup. And the thing about BJ, he's been in deep water before. He went to the longer rounds. He's been 3, 4, 5 rounds. So is Joe Daddy. Joe Daddy's been even deeper in the rounds. He's been fighting for 8 years. BJ Penn's been fighting for 7. It's going to be a great matchup because BJ Penn and Joe Stevenson, it's going to be a grappling duel. If BJ can break the takedown, stop the takedown, and put the pressure and don't get tired deeper in the water later in the round, this is going to be 5-5. Joe Stevenson keeps his hands moving. Don't go for the takedown so much. Keep his hands moving. Use more. I mean, this fight, it's going to be hard to predict. I mean, I like both these guys. These guys are going to bring a lot to the table, and I think they're going to be a great barn burner for UFC 80. But then again, you got Joe Stevenson with a record of 33-7. That's a lot of fights. You know, then you got BJ Penn with 12 wins, 4 losses. You know, you got to look at that. You know, who has more fights, who has more skills, and who's been in there a long time. But you know what? It doesn't matter who has it in the heart more. But I look to take. BJ wants that title. He missed that title once, and I don't think he's going to miss it again. I pick BJ to win this fight. So you just watched the preview of UFC 80, Inside the Cage, a recap, pre-show. Just want to let you know, these guys, that 401mania.com is going to upload this video hours after the fight's done. You're going to hear me talk about how everything, break down the fights, show you the game plans, and why these guys won their fights. And also, maybe the last 2 picks. Maybe I go 2-0. Also, I'm going to bring some more special guests. I read your emails, read your posts on the deal. I'm bringing in a good friend of mine, a good trainer. Actually, one of my trainers actually helped me get, propel me to my career, Little Dave Velasquez. Another interesting is that he fought Jens Pulver in UFC 24, a long time ago. But he's a good friend of mine, good trainer. And plus, he has more of an eye. He's been in the fight game for some time now. And also, he's probably one of my top trainers. I mean, he really gets my hand going. He really motivates me. I call him, he's my little chihuahua, my little pit bull, because when I don't want to train, he's calling, he's barking, he's calling, he's barking. And also, he's the only trainer that pushed me and made me do Brick'em yoga. Yes, I had to get involved in yoga. And Dave Velasquez is the one that pushed me and basically is my guru for yoga. But it's one of those training things that some trainers always throw you into. But I want to appreciate Dave for making me do yoga. I'm not as flexible. But enjoy the show. Check it out. 401mania.com is going to have this video uploaded on their site at 401mania.com. And enjoy.